Yo, what's going on, Elber? Alright, guys, so it's 9:19 a.m. Got into it a little bit late on the live stream. It's a pain in the butt getting the software to work, but it is what it is. So right now we're looking at, to me, what looks like kind of a choppy start to the morning as far as pre-market goes. But we can go ahead and go over a list of a few stocks that I think have some potential today. Let me bring up another page here. So a few of the ones that I'm looking at right now are IMUC, RMGN, I believe it is, RMGN. And I'll go over why I'm looking at them. So first off, IMUC, yesterday we had a lot of movement. Let me pull it up on my screen here. So IMUC, based on the movement that it had yesterday, this could be one that we see continue into today. But there are some things you have to look out for. So something like this, it made a huge move yesterday. Is it going to be able to sustain that momentum going into today's trading? We don't know. But so far, the pre-market looks relatively good. You're getting a lot of volume. I'll zoom in here for you. You're getting a lot of volume and a lot of play. So there's already a lot of volume into the stock pre-market, which is always a good sign. But the real question is it topped out at 234? If we come down to a 1-year day chart, you notice that this green line is my 100-day moving average. On a 1-year time frame, the stock tends to spike up and hit that moving average and then come crashing back down. And just yesterday, it did the same thing, basically. It came up, we hit the 100-day moving average, and now it's coming back down. So is this thing going to be in play today, or has it already done its move that it's going to make, and is it out of play? We don't know. That's why we're going to keep an eye on it and see what it does going into the pre-market. For me, a good play on this would have to be a break above the pre-market highs, which right now looks like it's sitting at about 212. So I'd want to see a break above the pre-market high to go long on this at about 212. But then, you only really have up until about 234 would be the next sign of resistance, which is the previous high of day yesterday. So that's something you guys could look out for. Another one could be MTBC. MTBC, I'm looking at this guy. The reason is it gapped up a little bit, but it does have some news on it. There's really no volume right now, and it's not my typical go-to style. I wouldn't like to just naturally play a stock that's charts look like this, but they did partner up with WinPoint Health, so there is some news on it. There's 2 articles under TOS right now that you can look into and read just before the market opens. We only got about 9 minutes here, but they did have some news on it. So this could be one, that ends up shooting up today based on the news or based on this. I think it's a partnership deal they have going on with WinPoint Health. So this could be something that ends up taking off, midday or early market. You just need the volume to do it. The volume's not there right now, but there's not to say that this could be one that's just flying under the radar right now. If we look over on the 5-minute chart, as you can see, it's starting to kind of curl up and show some bullish signs. Not very strong, but it is doing it. So this is something I would keep on watch today. Like I said, the market's kind of choppy right now. There's nothing that I really see that I like. And then there's another one, which was RMGN. This is also another one gapped up, right? But looking at this chart, there's nothing really appealing about it at all. This is not something I would normally recommend to maybe look at. But with that being said, they just signed a new contract. So there's news on it. There's 2 articles right now under TOS, one released at 7:30 and one released at 7:55. Now these are both articles that go into their new deal that they made. They got a $530,000 contract to expand some of their products. I'm not going to go too into it. You can look into that yourself if you're interested. But this could be one that's starting to gap up, and then right out of the gates we could get a gap and go where it just gapped up, and then all of a sudden volume comes in and pushes this thing right up. Okay, so just again, this one for me would want to see a break above the pre-market high, which is about 83 cents, and I have to see that break with strong volume. If there's not enough volume in this stock, then there'd be no point of playing, because you can get that break of the pre-market high, but with no volume, there's not going to be any buyers there to sustain that move, and it'll just come crashing back down. So this is another one you guys could look at. I will touch base on so RMGN, MTBC, what was the other one? IMUC are currently the ones that I have some eyes on this morning. I'm gonna pop over here See if anybody else is, looking at some. Good luck, guys. Can't day trade. So, it looks like we got, 18 people in here right now. That's awesome. Now, I'm going to go ahead and talk about some swing trades real quick. So, AMD. So, for those of you that maybe can't day trade today, I'm not saying that this is going to be the best buy in the world, but this is something that I did swing trade yesterday. I ended up getting in yesterday right at the opening bell at 12:38. Okay, so we ended up getting in right about here, and actually I'll move my screen back down, make this a little bit easier for everybody. So yesterday I got in at 12:38, wrote it all the way up. On this swing trade, I'm using Fibonacci's, and I'll go over CERU here in just a second. So this one I was used based doing Fibonacci's. Basically, AMD just sold down, and it just kept going down, kept going down, kept going down, and it came down to the point where it had to bounce eventually. So just looking at a 10-day, 5-minute chart, you can see that this thing completely sank down, but there are some trend lines that I had drawn, and based on using Fibonacci's, I was able to understand when the bounce is probably going to happen. And so far, we've hit all my target prices. We actually hit my last third target price, but now we're selling off. So as soon as the bell rings, I'm probably going to close my position on this. Another potential swing we have is Kara, and there's tons of swing trades out here. These are just a few that I've noticed. Kara just sank down extremely based on some bad clinical trials they had. And if you go into a 1-year day chart here, I believe it is, or 180-day chart, you'll notice that it has some clear support right here, right about the $14 level. You have support. If I draw this line across, you'll notice it's right about there. And as you can see, that's where the stock tanked down to, is right about that level. Now it's kind of grabbing some footing, so this could be a nice play to get into and ride it up maybe until 15 or right around the $16 range. You just have to pay attention to it. My first target price on this would be $17. If I got in right now, my first target price would be about $17, which would be the first Fibonacci retracement. But with that being said, we got about 3 minutes until the market opens. I'm going to go ahead and look at CERU real quick, and I'm going to switch back over to my trading platform. So, as we know, or if anybody was paying attention to the market yesterday, you'll know that CERU made some huge moves. I don't even know what it finished up percent on the day, but I know that it was big. And so basically today, what people would be looking for is to see, is this thing going to continue riding that momentum into today's trading? If so, great, you can hop on that train and just ride the momentum. But as you can see, we peaked out at about $1.50. Psychologically, the whole dollars and half dollar marks and $quarter marks are all, strong resistance points. And this is exactly what happened. And Johnny in the chat is talking about it right now with CERU. It topped out at about 150, and now we're seeing this huge sell-off. There were sellers holding back the price from going above $1.50. We get this huge sell-off, and now we're coming back down, and we're hitting, a strong support level of about $1 right in that 90-cent area, because those just tend to be support and resistance points with a lot of stocks, so the dollars are whole dollar marks, okay? So CERU, for me, I like to play breakouts. So right now, this doesn't look very appealing to me, that is. On the 1-year chart, it's already hit its 200-day moving average. That's a big sign of resistance. So this is something you could just watch intraday and just look for the patterns to start happening. So for me right now, on watch, I am personally looking at MTBC, IMUC, and IMUC, see, if I go back over to it, we got 2 minutes. IMUC is starting to make moves going out of the gates right now. Oh, we just got a sell-off. Nice. Okay, so it was, right? So we had this, it's just slowly trickling up. It's creating an upward channel right now, or wedge, really, you could call it an upward wedge. But right now, this could be a strong buy right out of the gates if it is going to hold this support trend line. I'm not telling you to buy out of the gates. What I would personally do is just watch it to see how this guy plays out, and then I would start getting into patterns like pullbacks or, flat top breakouts, just whatever happens and occurs intraday. That's what I would do. Personally, I love to play pullbacks. So we got about a minute here. Like I said, I'm going to watch RMGN, I'm going to watch MTBC, and I'm going to watch IMUC personally. And then, like I said, a lot of my trades will not always come based on the stuff that I find pre-market, but they will come based on what I find on my intraday scanner. I run a scanner all day long that basically tells me of, stocks that are moving or making moves intraday, and those tend to be the ones that I like to play. So like I said, once the day starts going, you'll start to see a bunch of stocks starting to pop up on my screen, and I'm just going to go through, and those can be the ones that we starting to find where they're breaking out or they're creating pullback patterns and so on. So we got 30 seconds here. Good luck to everyone. I hope everyone has a profitable day, as well as me. And like I said, I'm not going to be, I'm not going to be impatient. You just have to be very patient and just wait for your trades to come. All right, and bell is about to ring. So good luck to everybody who's trading. Okay, so IMUC right out of the gates, hopped up to 241. Stay zoomed in. So right now, IMUC, I'm going to keep my eye on. I just closed my position on AMD and got out at 12.96. I ended up with about a 5% swing trade on that, so that was nice. So IMUC just shot up right out of the gates. So right now we have more bidders than we do sellers. That's why the price is increasing. Our next mark to hit is going to be 250. Okay, based on our level 2, we're very even right now. There's not a big difference between buyers and sellers right now. So my next entry point on this, so we're forming a 1-minute pullback right now. The next entry I'd like to see, if this candle stays red, would be the break above. Well, there we go. Now we go up to 250. Now we're going to be looking at 260s. So for anybody in this trade, you're going to be looking at a sell-off coming very soon here. You're probably going to get it on this next candle. I imagine we're going to have a red candle coming next, just because we're already very extended. Ooh. This would have been a great play to get in on early. So for me, I'm not even, in the trade. So for me, I would be looking at getting in a pullback on IMUC. So as for the other guys, MTVC is not really doing anything, and RMGN is not really doing anything. So IMUC would be the winner for right now. Currently up 54% on the day, IMUC. So it's nice to catch one of these stocks that's really moving right out of the gates for you guys in the morning to show you that, you just got to pick the right stocks. And, you're not going to always have the right stocks, but, when you do, it's nice. And there's the sell-off. Okay, so that's a very common thing you'll see. When stocks just rip up right out of the gates and make a huge price move, there's always a sell-off coming. There's always a point where you're going to, the tables are going to turn, because everything that goes up must come down. Okay, now, based on that huge sell-off, you can always see it happening based on how many sellers you have on the ask, and if it's just flip-flopped and there's a ton of sellers on the ask and there's no buyers, then the price is going to flip-flop and you'll see that drop, right? So based on where we're at, if I come over to my 5-minute chart, so our 1-minute chart, That red candle was starting to come back. We're now touching the volume weighted average price, and we're getting real close to that 9-day moving average. So this could be, the perfect opportunity to get in on a pullback. Could be. Not guaranteeing, could be. Like Johnny Matrix, yes, we're waiting on the pullback. So let's see. So what we really want to see is some type of pullback on IMUC, which could very well happen. So I'm just going to go ahead and get an order ready to go. So right there was it's not a very clean or strong pullback. That's why I'm not getting in on that. So some of you may have put your order through maybe on like the break right there of the previous red, but for me that wasn't, even remotely a strong pullback. For whatever reason, my other scanner isn't running. I wonder why. Well, I'm going to pop up a scan real quick. For whatever reason, it's not working. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a look at a few other stocks. So this one, forming a pullback right now. Still a little extended, but see, we're forming a pullback on this guy. Now I'd like to see a break above 105 in order to go long on this. And this would be the first pullback. So this could be a good entry. Your second or third pullback usually aren't going to be as strong, but this is a 1-minute pullback, which usually isn't as strong as a 5-minute pullback. What I really like to play are the 5-minute pullbacks. Let's check RTK. So RTK shot up there, break above pre-market highs. Would have been the entry point on this, and we made a quick 7%, but then it couldn't hold, so now we're falling back down. So I'm going to go back to APHB. All right, and there it is. All right, so I wasn't paying it, I wasn't on it, but we got that pullback, that 1-minute pullback. Now we're up to 107. Let's go check out what CERU is doing. CERU had a solid bounce right there down by the 90-cent mark. Now it's coming back up. We just broke through the VWAP. This thing could continue to run, but I don't think CERU is going to be the one that makes tremendous moves today after the move it already made yesterday. I think this one, to be honest, is going to be very choppy all day long. MBRX is starting to move. All on relatively light volume. Back to IMUC. So IMUC would have been a good one to play out of the gates. You could have played the break of the upward trend resistance line. And just that alone would have gave you about a, what was that, 15, 16, 17% move, something close to there. So IMUC right now could be going towards a next big move. To go long on this, I'm looking for the break above 267. If I can get a break above 267, I will go long for a 5-minute pullback. Having a lot of trouble right now with one of my scanners not working. It's kind of frustrating. So I was actually late to get in on that pullback, which it's alright, it is what it is, and actually I'm kind of glad I didn't because it doesn't look like it's going to sustain it. Okay, so going back to AMD, so AMD had a quick spike and now we're sold off, and so I just took my profits right out of the gates. It's kind of one of those times where it looked like it was just going to continue the downward trend, so I sold off right as the gates open. Now we're sitting at 1286, so I would have lost another 10 cents per share by holding. Kara looks like it's finally hit its bottom, and it might be bouncing back, and now we're going to continue this uptrend. So this could be a good swing position. I'm actually highly considering hopping in on a swing trade here for this guy. IMUC not looking too good. RTK. Okay, so this is the winner right here. This is one of them, RTK, that I had pulled up. I wasn't continuing to watch it, but look at this nice pullback that occurred. I really wish I was paying attention to this one more. So RTK is already moving. We had its first pullback, so this could be where you get in on a second pullback if it occurs. First one was right here. The second one would be occurring right now. Currently up 34% on the day with RTK. Now, based on looking at RTK's 1-year chart, it still has a lot of room all the way up to the 200-day moving average. So if we can get a clean break to the 100-day moving average, which is right here, we could be looking at a nice move. I think this is probably going to be the one that I play for the day. Like I said, the most important thing is just be patient and wait for your trades to occur. They're not always going to come at you right away, so a lot of times you're just going to have to be patient and wait for them. So I'm going ahead and getting an order ready to go in on RTK. If I see that it looks good and it meets my criteria, and then I'll hop in, take a trade. So we have a huge seller on the ask at 73. They're really what's holding back this price from getting over 73. So still could be looking to get in long, maybe over 73 cents here. But gradually that volume is dying down. And there's just more orders stacked on the ask than there is the bid right now. So that's not a good sign. In a sense, we're going long, that is. So for right now, I think that's where we're going to wrap up. Just usually I like to go about 15 minutes pre-market, 15 minutes into trading where the most volatility is. And as you can see, we caught two of the big moves today. Not in time for me to trade. It's a little bit harder when I'm doing the live streams to kind of bounce around and find all the good plays and then get ready to play them. But we did find two big movers. First one being IMUC. We watched that thing move about 20% live as we were on, and this could be the move right here that I was looking for on RTK, but it just doesn't look like the volume's there to bring me to where I need to be. So like I said, we're gonna wrap it up there. I'll be doing these on the Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays whenever I'm not on vacation, but that will where we're gonna leave it off for today. If you end up watching this on YouTube, feel free to send me a friend request so that way you can get in on them live. Because I cannot go live on YouTube right now. So if you'd like, send me a friend request through Facebook, and then we can get you going on the live streams here and join into the group. But as always, thanks for everyone for joining, and I really appreciate your time.